Evening, this is Minister Peaceful Poet in my headquarters. Um, I posted a video on my Facebook and pinned it to the top and said that I would make a video, uh, an addendum to it, I guess. The video was Alex Jones and Mike Adams, and this might be Alex Jones' last video. Well, not really, but they are trying to destroy Alex Jones, but they can't. They won't. They'll just maybe destroy his empire, but he will always be around and he'll always post videos and we'll always hear about him. But anyways, they talked about a lot of things, and those things were important, and that's the reason why I pinned it to the top of my Facebook account, because you need to understand that these things are happening, will happen, and I don't know, you just need to be ready for these things. It's important. But there is one thing especially that I need to explain. And I believe I made a video about this once years ago. And instead of trying to search for it and repost it, I thought, well, I'll just make another one. So that's what I'm doing here. And that was a lot of what Alex Jones and Mark Adams was talking about was the jab, the meaning the vaccine, the spike proteins in the vaccine causes your body not to uh, causes your body not to protect you from radiation. Well, it causes your body not to um, heal itself from radiation damage. This is what the spike proteins cause. So they were concerned, and their theory was is that there will be World War III, there will be a nuclear bomb, and a lot of us are going to be killed, and this is part of the plan. And they might be right. This might be part of the plan, but I want you to understand that there isn't going to be any nuclear bomb. There isn't going to be any nuclear war. It's not going to happen. And well, fear can make things happen. Our fear has energy, it has power. If we're afraid of something strong enough, we'll make it happen. But I don't even think our fear can cause it to happen. But still, I think it's important to let you know that it's not going to happen. There isn't going to be any nuclear holocaust. There isn't going to be any nuclear bombs. There isn't going to be any nuclear war. It's not going to happen. When I was very young, I don't know, about 4 years old, 3 years old, 5 years old maybe, but very young, I had these visions, and I had several visions. Not all in the same day. I would have one day, one the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and then maybe a week later, I'd have another one again. I don't know how many times I had this vision. I can't remember. I didn't count, but I had it several times. That's all I can say. And the vision was always the same. I would see the nuclear explosion, the mushroom cloud mushroom up, and then it would stop. And then a red X would be pointed and painted over it. And I saw this vision several times when I was a little boy. And of course, I was most of my life I was mistaken, believing that maybe I had to somehow stop this from happening. Um, but as I got older and smarter, I come to the realization that there's no way that I could stop such a thing from happening. It's just not gonna. No one person, single person can do that. So I come to the realization and belief that this is just simply telling me that it's not going to happen. It's not going to be allowed. It'll be stopped. Even if they launch one of those weapons, something will stop it, and it just won't happen. It'll be a dud or something. It's just not going to happen. and there, and you might wonder why I had these visions. And well, uh, two reasons. One was really crazy. When I was in kindergarten and first grade, they showed us the movie of the Hiroshima bomb. They guess they thought this was important. If they show this to little kids, the little kids will grow up and prevent it from happening. That's must have been their theory. Crazy theory, but that's probably what they believed. And when I saw it in kindergarten, it really had no effect on me at all. I didn't know what the heck I was seeing. But when I saw it in first grade, I have quite a I remember a lot of the scenes in there. I remember the shadows on the concrete where people used to stand, and they just became shadows. The interviews from people who survived. Yeah, I remember all of that stuff. And so that's one reason why I believe I have those visions. Um, and I believe another reason I had those visions is because I remember before I was born. And I know I've talked about this many times, probably a couple videos about that and posts and stuff, but you're going to hear it again. I don't know why I remember before I was born. I don't know if it's because I'm supposed to remember, or it's just a quirk in the universe, or I hit my head really bad when I was a little kid. I was very, very young. I hit my head pretty hard. So I don't know, but I remember. And if you go Google, remember before I was born, you'll find a few people who, like me, remember before they were born. The difference between me and them is, and I'm not saying that they're lying, I'm just different, is they all claim that they chose to come here. They volunteered to come here. But it wasn't like that with me. I did not want to come here. I did not want to come here. And I don't know for sure why I had to come here. I believe I have an opinion, but I don't know for sure why. And but I do remember, and I didn't want to come here. And this is how it went. There were many of us all together, and there was a love between us all, and it was a very, very powerful love. I just can't put into words. It was like it was like when you feel comfortable with somebody that you full and complete trust. That's what it was. This very powerful love that we all had for each other. And then I was standing above this great big giant hole, and I was looking down on the earth. And I was seeing all of these terrible, awful things happening. And they were so awful and they were so terrible that I just can't remember what I saw. I just know that they were just awful, terrible things. And then the very last thing that I saw was this mushroom cloud bellowing up. Big, huge mushroom cloud billowing up. I believe that what I was seeing was the end of World War II. I believe that's what I was seeing, but I don't know that for sure. And maybe I was seeing the future, and maybe those visions were telling me that that future wasn't going to happen. I don't know. But after seeing all those things, a man came to me with a beard and mustache. And when I was very little, I always believed it was Jesus, but now I don't know who it was. But he came to me, and I knew why he was coming to me, but yet I just, it just didn't hit me. And then when he came to me, he said to me, he says, "It's time to go." And I've just about lost it, man. I just about lost it. I just cried. I cried. I almost fell. My knees got weak. I almost fell to the ground. I just couldn't go, to this awful place where all these terrible things happen. And he put his hand on my shoulder and said, "It'll be okay." And so that's what I remember. And I think that's another reason why I see those visions, because it just let me know that that nuclear explosion just isn't going to happen. It's going to be okay. So I think it's important that I share that with you, that you know that. It's not to say that what Mike Adams is saying and Alex Jones is saying is wrong, and there are lots of other very intelligent people, very in touch people people in touch with the spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, who are saying the same things. And they're not lying, they're not wrong. It's just not going to be allowed to happen. It maybe is supposed to happen, but it ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. And I think it's important that we know that. And there's another thing that they didn't touch on in that video as well. And there are just other people you just you just can't rely on one source. You have to go to other sources because other sources have other information as well. And Ben Davidson is a good source, and he understands the sun very well. He's an expert on the sun. And he's hard to understand because he talks science. And if you don't know the science, then it's kind of hard to know what he's talking about. You just kind of get an idea, but you don't really have a full understanding of it. And I honestly say I don't have a full understanding of it. But he does give courses. You can take he does give online courses. So, if you're really interested, I just don't have the time. But the sun is going to go into a micronova. And this will create a bunch of radiation on the Earth. So when Mike Adams and Alex Jones talks about how this jab, this vaccine, the protein spikes in our system from these vaccines will prevent our body from healing from this radiation. Well, this radiation is going to come, but not from a nuclear bomb. It's going to come from the sun. When the sun goes into a micronova. And at first it was believed that was going to happen around one scientist said 1947. Ben Davidson says some 2047. And Ben Davidson, he thinks it's going to be around 2040s. But now we suspect it might even be sooner yet. So it might be really important that you get rid of these spike proteins out of your system if you've been vaccinated. And even if you haven't been vaccinated, you can still get these spike proteins. They're around, they're everywhere. So you might do some research. I know of one way to get rid of them, and that is to fast for 72 hours. I haven't done it yet, but I do plan on doing it eventually, but I haven't done it yet. I was going to do it on my last vacation, but I had an ear infection, so I couldn't do it then. But I do plan on doing it one of these days, fast for 72 hours. So that's one way of doing it. And I also understand that these spike proteins, the body does get rid of them. I don't know if they'll get rid of all of them, how fast, I don't know what it takes, but the body can get rid of them. But you might want, especially if you've been vaccinated, and maybe more than once, you might want to look into that. Look into how to get rid of those spike proteins to save yourself when that micronova comes. Because there will be radiation on this earth, and we will need to heal from it. But despite all the bad news, I do strongly believe that help is on the way. If you're a Christian, you believe that Jesus is coming, we'll call it that. We'll call it that. Jesus is coming. It's going to be okay, but it's just going to get a little worse first. Okay. I believe that by 2028, it's going to be okay. But between now and then, it's going to get a little rough. So you need to get a little ready. You need to be ready for it. Get a little bit prepared. And that's about all I got to say. Nice talking with you. Love and peace. Have a blessed day.